Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another segment of Saturday Morning Cartoons. We put on that long pause to give people a chance to go get your cereal, go get your tea, go get your coffee, go get your children, so you can join us. And here we are, along with our wonderful co-hosts, Rosemarie, Rose, and Jerome Connor. We are back again for Saturday Morning Cartoons. Good to see you guys. Okay, what's the big frump going on? Everybody's in a bad mood this morning. What's going on?
Well, one of my cats is sick, and I have to take her to the vet, and I'm hoping it's not bad news. So, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Jerome, what's your problem this morning?
I'm tired from the last 2 days of nonstop running around. I haven't had any downtime on my days off because, like I said, we're still moving into the new house. We've got lots of stuff going on. On the positive note, Cara had 2 job interviews this week. So, yeah, it's just been a crazy one, and exhaustion will make you grumpy.
Yep. Yes, it will. I agree there.
Yeah, I think after the show, I'm going to go take a nap.
Okay. Well, after the show, I'm going to do grocery shopping and go to work. So I have to go into the office and try to finish up some deadlines.
Are you going to be wearing your suit and tie?
No. I'm actually going to be wearing shorts and sandals. That's what I'm wearing.
And what you're wearing, the shirt you're wearing now.
Yeah. Everybody, good morning to those that are here expecting us first thing in the morning. First off, I want to put up something for next week. Just excuse us as we rebroadcast or a repeat episode. Well, actually, it's a broadcast of an episode, not a rebroadcast of a repeat episode. For next week, the 23rd, we're gonna take the day off. I'm gonna go and hang out the Universal. I am so old. It used to be a time where working Universal, this is the interesting thing. I used to work at early morning shift at Universal. We had a call time at about 5:30, I think, something like that in the morning. And we opened up the park. We had early park passes. People who were staying at the hotels on Universal property actually get into the park an hour early before the regular people. So we had to let people in at like 7 o'clock, 7 a.m., 6:30, something like that. So we had to be there, of course, to check to make sure that they were legit. And I was sitting here saying to myself, am I going to do that for myself for next weekend? Am I going to get down to Universal before opening time next weekend? Hell no. I'm old. I'm cranky. My bones ache when I rotate out of bed. I ain't doing it. I'll get the Universal when I get the Universal because I know I can stay all night until closing time. If I make it that far, I'll be lucky to make it to noon, I think.
I was going to say, that's going to be a rough time for you.
Yeah, doing both parks, and I haven't done the new Harry Potter rides and the new Velociraptor that's there, and those are going to be my go-to. The first thing that I'm headed to are going to be for those rides, and if I'm out of there by noon, I'd probably be very, very happy, okay, because working there and living in this state for so long and doing those parks, and it is a job to go theme parking. It is a job. It is such a hard routine, a hard thing to do. I don't know why people spend so much money to fly down here for 7 to 10 days to be aggravated every morning to make it to Disney and to make it to Universal. It makes I don't get it. I mean, oh my God, man, we've never been there before. But okay, all right, so it'll be 10 years after you come back, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, you can come sweat in line for 3 hours for a 10-minute ride.
Lord have mercy. And
No, Rose, not 10 minutes, 5.
I had to monitor those rides. My God, I opened up both the Harry Potter parks, and that was not even worth talking about because it was history making and it was suicidal for us park workers. But usually in the summertime, an average wait time for Harry Potter is about 2 to 3 hours. You're standing there for that. It's going to be the same with Galaxy's Edge again this summer because people have been locked up for 2 years. So they're going to be running full hill to go to those rides. And I stay as far. Walmart is my kingdom. I'm sorry. You guys can go. You have your fun at the theme parks. You're all happy. You're dressed like tourists. When you hear anything about Florida, man, no, that's a tourist that got attacked by an alligator. That's a tourist that got attacked by a shark. We locals are on the shoreline going, what the hell is he doing? So
you go to the strange theme park called Walmart.
Yes, I love that.
There's
Walmart.
always something weird stuff going on at Walmart.
At least the tourists are daily. Okay, at the theme park, it's a new idiot every week, and it's like, oh, here we go again. No, ma'am, you don't want to pet that squirrel. They'll bite you and they carry. No, sir, you don't want to pet that squirrel. They'll bite you and they carry. No, little boy, you don't want to pet that. And
stay away from that alligator.
Oh my God! Yes, yes. Go pet the alligator, sir. But have you paid yet? Because we don't have any taxes in the state, and we rely on your money. We decided last night that we're not be going to Florida in January.
I'm going to make everybody on the cartoon crew, and including you two, feel really old. You ready for this?
What's that?
Debbie Gibson, the teen star of our childhood, is now doing ads for AARP.
Yay!
If that doesn't make you feel old.
Yay! We're still wanted at our age. We're still wanted. I love it. You go, Debbie. Yeah, Brittany, kiss my ass. But anyway, Cheryl, for you, October and February, as we tell most people, are the best months to be in Florida. Okay. October and February is when you want to be in Florida. I hear excuses all the time. It's the only time my kid can get out of school. Look, I told you what's the best time. Bring your kid and you guys suffer together. Okay. So anyway, once again, good morning. Saturday morning cartoons. We talk about things from our childhood, things that we remember. This week is my turn. So bear with me trying to run the board and read a script or, do all kinds of stuff is going to be kind of hard. So give me a break. Today, our topic is the Kings of Animation. This is part one, mainly because there are a lot of Kings of Animation that are out there. And I'm going to focus on 3 of them for this viewing. So you will see future viewings of Kings of Animation from any one of us in the future. And I'm going to focus on things that you did not know. Okay, and this first King of Animation I'm going to bring up, his name, believe it or not, is Max Fleischer, or actually Fleischer, if you say it in Jewish term, Max Fleischer. Okay, Max was the longtime studio head. Hold on for a sec. I got to do this real quick. Excuse me for a sec, ladies and gentlemen. Where are you, dude? There you go. Max was the longtime studio head of Fleischer Studios. The company started with his brothers. After their invention of iconic characters like Betty Boop, Coco the Clown, the Pop and Popeye, okay, the studio gained notoriety and a prominent place in the early animation scene. Max's creativity went far beyond animating, though. He also creatively ran the studio with dumbfounding vision and intentions. Max's technological advancements of the art form include inventing the rotoscope, which allowed film footage of a live figure to be used as a guide for drawing an animated figure, and this was created in 1917. And he also has the stereoptical process. This guy has a lot of patents in the cartoon world, What I'm going to, first clip I'm going to show you guys here, let me pull it up. Real quick, is something you may not know, but Coco the Clown was the first animated figure that Max created. So let's watch a little bit of this piece here.
In the ordinary world, success is determined by what a person has accomplished. In the mind of the genius, success is often determined by what he didn't finish. For one genius in particular, the sands of time ran out before his work was complete. In the world of animated cartoons, he and his brothers were innovators, industry changers, pioneers. Their studio gave moviegoers some of the most popular characters ever created. Most would presume Disney. Not enough would guess Fleischer.
The only studio that could possibly hold a candle artistically at all, even close to the Disney guys, were the Fleischer guys.
In the 1920s, Disney was a nobody, and the Fleischers were already a very well-established animation studio.
At their best, the Fleischers were everything Disney wasn't. Tough, gritty, urban. Give them your tired, your poor, and your huddled masses, and they spit back side-splitting humor in syncopated time.
They were going for what was going to entertain the audience for 7 minutes, with song, with humor, and that's where they succeeded. And they succeeded very, very well. They were Disney's rival.
But faster than a speeding bullet, Fleischer Studio was gone. The flip side of their comedic coin revealed a mysteriously dark and tragic tale of big business and a family forever divided.
It got to the point where they weren't speaking.
It's a tragedy that the studio ended when it did, because I think they could have done a lot more.
The Fleischer story is one of triumph and tragedy, the result of genius catching lightning in a bottle, genius that could not be contained in an inkwell.
The cartoons you love today, even The Simpsons, South Park, if it wasn't for the Fleischer Studio, you wouldn't have these cartoons that we have today. They were the original bad boys of animation.
All right, so believe it or not, Max produced some of the first war training films for the U.S. Army, so he was around for a very long time. A lot of people don't realize or didn't realize at the time, because this is information, his brother, Richard, was the director for Soylent Green in 1975. I'm sorry, 1973, not 75. The movie, when they were filming Soylent Green, was suspended for a week because of Max's death. So in honor of his brother, they suspended filming of Soylent Green because Max had died. So Max produced a lot of cartoon. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to start that again. Max produced a lot of cartoons that you guys know and remember, but I'm going to show you something that's pretty rare. And it is the first appearance of Max Fleischer's Popeye the Sailor Man.
Strike up the band for Popeye the Sailor, cash in his hand, ride off a whale, stand in a row, no! Don't let him go, no! He's a cinch but every inch a sailor.
Strike up the band for Popeye the Sailor, cash in his hand, ride off a whale, stand in a row, no! Don't let him go, no! He's a cinch but every inch a sailor. No!
I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish, 'cause I eat my spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor.
I'm stopping. Oops, I'm stopping it real quick. Who the hell walks like that? Huh? Tell me, please.
Guys with big forearms.
Yeah.
Man, I'm strong to the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
And that was the first appearance of Popeye the Sailor Man. If you notice Olive Oil's voice, that was not her voice. So
Right, very
I'm not
different.
sure who did that.
It
But
said
go
in
ahead,
the
Jerome.
credits that Betty Boop
Yes.
was supposed to show up. I want to know where she was because I want to know why he chose Olive Oil over Betty Boop.
Well, different strokes for different folks, as I say, and I agree with you 100%. My two problems with the two ladies is Olive was incredibly beanpole skinny.
I have no problem with skinny. I just would like a girl with bones in her arms.
Well, bones in her arms. Yep, that would be right. Betty Booth just had a big ass head. Okay, and I don't understand.
Okay, big head. Yeah, I can see that's a problem.
That would distract me sitting next to me on a couch. You know, I have to turn and look at this woman, and I probably wouldn't be looking at her in her eyes.
Yeah, but with all that brain power, she's probably smarter than all of us.
Hey, honey, what do you think of this? And boy, do you have a big ass head. You know, I know it would just be something like that. Other things that people did not know is that along with his other brother, David Fleischer, they both released and produced the first sound cartoons. Okay, the first release was "Come Take a Trip in My Airship" back in 1924. By the way, his company. Ink Spot. Wait, I'm losing my wording here. His company was co-founded Inkwell Studios with his brother in 1927. Okay, but yet their first release for a sound cartoon was called "Come Take a Trip in My Airship," which was in 1924. The first produced was a show or a cartoon called "My Old Kentucky Home." In 1926. I want to show you guys this next clip from Max Fleischer, and I'm going to make this one a short one. I'm going to have to cut this one short because I have one more after this one, which is my favorite reason for liking Max. But watch this one first.
Welcome to the world of Max Fleischer's Color Classics. Max Fleischer was a cartoonist and pioneer animation producer and a chief rival to Walt Disney during the 1930s. Though Fleischer had invented the rotoscope in 1917, a device still used today to trace live-action photography into frame-by-frame animation art, and despite Fleischer's early use of sound, multi-plane backgrounds, and extra-length cartoons, Disney was still the industry leader. When Disney popularized color cartoons, Fleischer followed suit with color classics. Following the Disney mold, the Fleischer studio attempted to adapt well-known fairy tales or create nostalgic, romantic, or humorous stories around musical motifs and original songs.
Was that Betty Boop?
Yep.
But
yes,
leave
it
it
was
to the Fleischers and their offbeat brand of humor.
That crown will never
For example,
fit.
this first film, based upon the Old Woman in the Shoe nursery rhyme. Here the Fleischers give it a contemporary swing music, kick in the pants. In 1935's Kids in a Shoe, listen for Smiley Burnett, Gene Autry's Western sidekick, as the young singing kid with a deep voice.
There are those arms again.
The advice of the woman in the shoe. Just use a little kindness and a lot of patience too, if you want to be as happy as the woman in the shoe.
Okay, that was a little bit of work on Max. I have to apologize. I was putting up photos of my next subject, and I should have been showing you these, which were the Max Fleischer characters that you first saw, and there's Betty Boop. Pretty cute part in her middle of her hair. I don't know what's going on with the rest of that head, but
that's the flapper look.
That is the flapper. Yes, the little curls there. Coco the clown, as you know.
Now, do you know who the live action model was for him?
Harold Lloyd, or am I wrong?
Max
Lloyd?
No, Max Fleischer.
Oh, Max Fleischer. Okay, did not know that. All right. As you can see, the transitions, but just 8-year transition here up to present day. You can see the transition of Betty Boop.
And you know why the transition happened, right?
Yes, there was a lot of, back in those days, there were a lot of sexuality. There were a lot of disrespect towards women and races. And this is one of the organizations that kind of came down on Max in terms of his sexuality. All right. Now, we also have, of course, Bluto, the clown there. But here is the main reason of why I like Max Fleischer so much. So take a look at this.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman! Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound, this amazing stranger from the planet Krypton, the Man of Steel, Superman. Possessing remarkable physical strength, Superman fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice, disguised as a mild-mannered newspaper reporter, Clark Kent.
All right, Fleischer helped popularize the superhero film with the Oscar-nominated short animated film Superman in 1941. He also contributed to introducing Superman's ability of human flight. He could only leap in the comics before the film changed all that. So believe it or not, if it wasn't for Max, Superman would have been destroying the rooftops across cities worldwide. Okay, leaping. So it was Fleischer who literally came up with the idea that Superman can in fact fly. One of the last things that we're going to talk about Max was his son. His son, Richard Fleischer, was hired by Walt Disney, which was Max's main competitor, of course, to direct Disney's blockbuster 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in 1954. So you had a brother that did Soylent Green in 73, and you had the son that did 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in 1954.
Both great films.
Incredible films. Two of my favorites. And although Disney and Max had been competitors for decades by that time, they had never actually met. And in fact, Richards said that Disney often inquired of him, "How's your dad doing?" You know, so it's just phenomenal how the world of cartoons come into the Disney realm and, of course, into sci-fi down the road. So that was impressive. Anybody have any comments about Max before we move on to our next big boy?
Max did stuff that to this day you can see the influences.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, let's take Mark's thing about music. The Superman music alone right there.
I was going to thank you, Jerome. Thank you for bringing that up. It sends chills up my spine every time I hear that music anywhere.
Well, you can hear traces of that music in the 1950s TV show.
I was going to say the openings are a lot similar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now my problem, not a problem, but notice how they set the tone with Clark Kent on there. They say he's a mild-mannered reporter. that is not a mild-mannered reporter. If you watch these cartoons,
Yeah, not in this rendition. You're right. He's just as heroic as Superman is.
Yeah, the only time I've ever seen a mild-mannered reporter was Chris Reeves, but that's a subject for another show. But the point is that he set the stage. Him and the radio show set the stage for what Superman became for the next 70-odd years.
Yes, agree. 100% agree.
And that takes a lot of talent to do that sort of thing.
How about you, Rose? Do you know or have heard of any or seen any of Max Fleischer? I'm sure you have, because I think you did a segment on Popeye at least. So
yeah.
But the beginnings itself was from Max. So anything you could tell us about Max, or you remember about Max?
Well, I mean, I just remember when I took film class back in college, we were talking about a rotoscope and how it really innovated everything.
It's interesting you brought that up, because as a young kid, Popeye was one of the weekly cartoons that we watched at home, and I even at that young age that I still remember Focus, because that's how I am. My mother still gets on my case because I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey and Planet of the Apes in the theater with her, and I was analyzing every scene on how they did that. Even at that age, I was still saying, "Oh, yeah, I see. Oh, look how they did that. Oh, that's fantastic." Hold on for a sec, John. But with rotoscoping, I remember watching a Popeye cartoon, and as Popeye was walking across the landscape, especially the big animal fight on the island, he had the fight with Bluto, and you had all the animals that were, spectating and whatever. How when they would move, it's like, look, the landscape is moving too, but in a different direction. Wow, how did they do that? That was the version of this machinery, which was rotoscoping that they came up with. It was fantabulous. Go ahead, Jerome.
I was going to say, my first experience outside of these cartoons with rotoscoping was in the 70s, was the Lord of the Rings film. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I had never
you mean Ralph Bakshi's
Lord of the Rings.
Right, right.
That's heavily rotoscoped, especially when the orcs and all that stuff. And I didn't understand what that was, because I thought just some weird animation. I didn't realize what that was until almost 20 years later, when I started understanding what rotoscoping was. And then started when I started doing this show with you guys, I actually had to go and learn what rotoscoping was. And I am still impressed at what the Fleischer's family did with this technology.
Agreed 100%, all the way down. So that was Max Fleischer. So let's move on to my next one, which is very, very important. And they were out of line here. My next guy that we're going to talk about here, and I'm starting as far back as I possibly can before I move forward. So I'm moving forward here with the next king of animation, and his name was Tex Avery. Okay, Tex Avery, believe it or not, okay, a little bit of history here. Tex Avery, let me find my images here for Tex. Where are you, Tex? Okay, Tex Avery was a descendant, believe it or not, of Judge Roy Bean and Daniel Boone.
Wow.
But all his grandma ever told him about it was, don't ever mention you're akin to Roy Bean. He's not a good skunk. Literally, that's what he says. He's not a good skunk. So if Walt Disney is the father of animation, then Tex Avery, along with Chuck Jones, I may add, are its godfathers. Okay, Tex is responsible for the zany Hollywood cartooning style of the 40s, and what Jerome was laughing at.
I know that cartoon.
Okay, that was pivotal to the evolution of the art form. Tex, also known as Fred Avery, created the characters Droopy, Screwy Squirrel, and as you see here on the screen now, this is Red Hot Riding Hood.
Oh, yeah.
And if you've ever seen when Red Hot Riding Hood is basically coming in play, how the wolf just basically goes absolutely wild. The additive of seeing the wolf suspended in midair and his eyeballs are popping out multiple times in the direction of what it is he was looking at, was created by Tex Avery. This was Tex Avery's doing. Of course, a lot of feminism that was going on there. It was the time, it was the era. I get it. men were pigs back then, basically. So they
What do you mean?
portrayed it a
We're
lot.
still, unfortunately, we still are a lot.
Men
of
are
cases.
still pigs, unfortunately. You're absolutely right. But let me tell you what I'm gonna. Okay, one thing about Avery. Avery appreciated speed, sarcasm, and irony. And to the kids who like the nonstop action, Tex Avery provided that as well. A lot of Bugs Bunny episodes that Tex Avery, the early day Bugs Bunny episodes that Tex Avery was responsible for. You see things like this. If you remember Droopy from then, you see it here. And I am going to show you a Tex Avery clip. And this is the very first original introduction. Hold on, need to get this off the screen of this character. I want you to take a look at it and tell me if you recognize who he is.
Gee, it's awfully quiet. I wonder if there are any more hunters out here this morning. That duck's crazy.
You telling me?
You could almost say he's Daffy.
They all should duck.
I'm not crazy. I just don't give a darn. My name is Daffy Duck. I worked on a merry-go-round. The job was swell. I did quite well till the merry-go-round broke down. The guy that worked with me was a horse with a lavender eye. Around in world we wink at girls till the merry-go-round broke down. Now you know why I'm dizzy and do the things I do. I am a screw and you'd be too if the merry-go-round broke down. Yes, the merry-go-round broke.
All right, the first rendition or the first appearance of Daffy Duck, but I'm going to show you something else that actually had the first appearance of someone, a very well-known character that went on to success and prominence and whatever, and you will see his introduction. I'm going to push this forward a bit here. Don't want to spoil it yet. Too late. All right, I didn't have time to edit this clip.
We will now open our exercises with a recitation by our little friend, Porky Pig.
Custer's Lanston.
Listen, my children, and you shall hear the midnight ride of Paul Revere.
He's a kid, Jennifer. He hasn't started eating yet.
On the 18th of April in 75. Hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. Half a leg onward. Rode the 400. Forward. The light brigade charge it to me, he said.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, that was an introduction of Porgy the Pig, if you didn't realize that. The stuttering was killing me. Thank God he improved on that. And Jennifer had mentioned that she saw in the beginning of this clip, which I'm assuming that's what she meant. In the beginning of this clip, that Porky was much bigger. No, okay. Run the screw. And welcome, Jamie. Nice to see you. Was that
no, I don't think it was.
I don't think so either. I think it was a random hunter, kind of more gooberish than Elmer was. But that was a random hunter, if that answered your question there. So Tex, guys, had some really interesting trademarks, okay, back in his day, okay? He liked to interrupt the actions of his films to give a comment that always ended with, "Isn't it?" Question mark. A true sample is incredible, ain't it? You know, he likes to interrupt his cartoons. He also like having a cowboy chase scene suddenly replaced with the sentence, "Exciting, isn't it?" You know, so basically when you see interruptions like that in the comics back then, that was due to Tex. He just likes to do that. His cartoons frequently have a male character who sees an extremely beautiful, scantily clad woman, thus, you know, Red Hot Robin Hood. Yeah, I said it right, Robin Hood. Woman, and turn into a anthropomorphized wolf who howls and whistles at the woman. Sorry, I can't say that. He had an extensive use of anvils that usually fall from a great height and squash one of his characters. He really used that a lot. And his characters in his cartoons frequently broke the fourth wall. Okay, so anytime you see a cartoon where the fourth wall is broken, you basically know where that came from. Tex was responsible for that. But take a look at this.
Well, boys, being that two of you have applied for the position, we'll put this on a competitive basis. The one that gives me the best performance in strength and daring gets the job. What do you say? Woof, woof.
Okie dokie.
Okay, I wanted to show you a little bit of Droopy, introduce you to Droopy. And, you know, it's really funny. I want to ask you guys because I remember going to a movie back in the, I'm going to literally say the 60s because that's when I started going to movie theater. I think Planet of the Apes was probably my first, or 2001 was probably my first movie. Do you guys remember seeing these theatrical cartoons, much like Tom and Jerry, in the beginning of a movie? I did. Oh my God, I'm dating myself here, but I remember sitting in a theater and they always showed a cartoon before the movie.
No, only in Disney films would they have a short in front, but nothing like that.
No. Yeah, I never, and I mean, my remembering my first films was back in the early 70s, like 77, maybe 69. And where I went and saw them, they didn't because it was Armed Forces Theaters.
Yeah, that's interesting. I remember distinctly seeing a cartoon before a movie. And anybody in the cartoon crew, anybody in our chat room, if you guys, or I mean, even if your parents remember, if you've heard your parents mention to you, yeah, I wish they start showing cartoons before the beginning of a movie now, you know, and it was brought back but I think Pixar was the one that did it, or Disney, let's say. I think they literally were the ones that did start showing cartoons before the main features. So,
well, for a while there, some of the old classic films that were released on DVD, they set them up to be a night at the movies where you would get the trailer, the short, the cartoon, a music video, and then the main feature.
right.
I have that on my Errol Flynn Robin Hood.
Ah,
You know,
I think also they were trying to gap up the time, fill in the time, because most cartoons were 90 minutes, if that, so to kind of get the bang for your buck, especially if you buy it on DVD or whatever, they show a cartoon.
Well, remember, you'd get a newsreel also when you would watch back in the 1940s.
Thank God I'm not that old, but yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You get the
newsreels.
newsreels.
So this was people would go to dinner, right? And then about 6 or 7 o'clock, you'd be there, and you'd be there in that theater until almost midnight.
Yeah.
Hey,
Jerome. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rose.
Mark, my dad used to tell me the story about how he'd, get like a nickel and go watch the old serials. He loved the Buster Crab stuff. That's how.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said that he'd get kicked out of the house. He'd be there until 10 o'clock at night. From 10 to 10.
My
dad
dad
have to leave.
My dad was an usher at one point.
Yeah.
Okay, when they had ushers in movie theaters, and he would always have to go up to the balcony for obvious reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For obvious reason. That's right, man. I mean,
when I took not the same as when we were.
No, I know. I'm sitting here trying to remember. I don't think I've ever tried anything on a girl when I took her to the theater. I was just happy to go for the movie. I actually went for the movie. Okay, so except Jerome. Jerome did. He made out in the balcony.
Did it work? No.
Yeah, you get your hands smacked, you get your face smacked. Your eyes would bug out of your head, and things like that. Let me tell you something. Remember when we always used to say during our Saturday morning cartoons that lawn darts, for example, or clackers, we would never injure ourselves in that because we had freaking basic common sense. Well, listen to this, okay? Here's a trivia on Tex Avery, okay? He was accidentally blinded in his left eye by a friend doing a rubber band propelled paper clip at Walter Lantz Studios, striking his left eye. Because of this, he had no depth perception. Okay, so
which makes
you can play with lawn darts and not get injured, but play with a rubber band and a paper clip, and you're definitely doomed for the rest of your life. So, that was one of the things on Tex Avery. Let's see. The recurring characters Avery created at MGM were Droopy, Wolf and Red, which the Red Riding Hood, Screwy Squirrel, and George and Junior. Those were his trademark. And a lot of these theatrical releases, as you can see, with the symphonic background music to it or whatever, a lot of work and effort, not trying to denigrate or say anything less about animators today and the work they have to do with putting together cartoons. But my God, man, you had a whole symphony sitting there doing the background music for these things. They concentrated on the animation step by step, bit by bit. Let me show you guys this here.
I love Droopy. I'm happy.
I'm happy. The voice alone. Let's see.
I love Droopy. My favorite is the Fox Hunt with Droopy.
Oh, the fox. Oh, yes, that is awesome. Let's see what we got here. I didn't show this one, did I?
I don't know. Well, it's a Droopy one.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Already saw that one.
Okay, that's not the one. Let's see. There's one more. Oh, this one. Okay.
Sport fans. The
This is for you, Jerome.
Will be crowned King of Sports and Queen of Sports. Droopy Poodle.
That's a poodle.
Gorgeous Gorilla Witch.
Looks like that's from the last one we just saw.
Yes, I think you're right. That is a clip from the last one.
I wonder if they mixed them.
I think they did.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Pastrami Special. This car is all motor.
Wow.
And his opponent, driving a 2.5 liter, 3.5, Pizza 8, Buzz Droopy.
I love that he's got Yeah.
Yep, saw that one.
This looks like a compilation.
It is. It is. I grabbed it just for that. I would have done this first.
Oh, don't lose your head, Butch.
On your mark, get set.
You cheating. You cheating.
Oh, I love that car.
I knocked him back to the Stone Age. Okay, enough violence for one morning, for God's sakes, you know. But
and kids, don't drop anvils.
don't try
on your
this
head.
at home. That's right. Yeah.
Don't drop anvils on your head.
Yeah, because they do hurt. But anyway, so that's Tex Avery. My last and final one, and I save him for the end here. Let me pull up my script here. Is somebody that we all know and we love, and I think Rose, I think you did, or did I do a show on The Company? Okay, this guy that I'm about to talk about next, his name is Friz Freleng. Okay, Friz Freleng, on account of his frizzy hair, has been made famous not for his hair, but for his contributions to the Looney Tunes and the Merry Melodies classic series from Warner Brothers. Friz developed and introduced most of the classic Looney Tunes characters, including Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, Tweety Bird, Sylvester, Yosemite Sam, and Speedy Gonzales. In fact, here's a little bit of trivia for you. Yosemite Sam was based on Friz Freleng because Friz Freleng had a very hot temper. Yeah, he had a very hot temper. Okay. And a lot of people said, yeah, well, that's Friz. But Friz went on, of course, to join up with a former Warner boss by the name of David H. DePatie. Okay. DePatie Freleng Enterprises is the company that produced the Pink Panther show, the Ant and the Aardvark, and yada, yada. Friz is regarded as one of the major figures in his field as an animator and as an animation director. He had no formal training in art. Okay, according to the book, That's All, Folks, The Art of Warner Brothers Animation, Freleng directed the greatest number of cartoons of anyone in Warner Brothers Animation units. His colleagues during the Warner Brothers years based the character Yosemite Sam on him. It was based on his short stature and his tendency for suddenly explosive outbursts. Okay, so let's look at a little bit of Friz Freleng here. My last entrance into the Kings. Yep. Let's do. Wait a minute. Did I show this one yet? Let's see.
Yes, you have.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, you showed that one.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I had them numbered, but I misnumbered something. Here we go. Let's try it.
I'd be famous on the screen, the greatest ever seen. Oh, how my feet would go. Bill Robinson is slow. Fred Astaire never could top this one. I'd be famous famous on the screen. My voice is so supreme. I put my heart and soul in each and every role. If it's grand opera, I'll be singing la 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 la
That's all, folks.
And as you can see, that was pretty much of an update of Porky Pig, which Friz Freeling was responsible for. Man, say his name 3 times real
Friz
fast.
Freeling.
Never mind. Okay. In his directorial career at Warner's, Friz directed 266 cartoons, more than any other director at the studio. Okay, and in addition to being the longest running, busiest director, he was also the most honored with 4 Academy Awards to his credit. Okay,
wow.
So this is a big boy in the industry and seeing his name around. But you guys may know him today by seeing this.
Yep.
I love this music.
Oh, what's that over there? Ooh, it looks like a picnic. I love picnics. You know, my mother used to take me on picnics. I think I'd better get over there before the other ants in the neighborhood get the idea and take all the...
Rose, who does he sound like? Who does he sound like?
I'm not sure.
Jerome?
Well, that's old Dino. That's Dean Martin.
You're right. It's not him. It's not him in person or doing the voice.
No,
John Byrne, who is the voice character for the Ant and the Aardvark, was also a what do you call it, Jerome? Impersonator. There you go. He was an impersonator. So that was John Burns impersonating Dean Martin.
Oh yeah.
Now you need to get the Aardvark. Who does he sound like?
Hey, now that's good food. They don't fool around when they go on a picnic. These are good people. Hey, Ant. What's the matter? You lost, pal?
I want to talk to you for a minute. As a matter of fact, I want to talk to you about your future.
Jerome?
Yeah, I can't think. I can see the comedian. I see who he is. I can't think of his name, though. He used to play in the Catskills all the time.
How about you, Rose?
I'm not sure. Jackie Mason.
Jackie Mason. There you go.
There
you go, Mike.
Good job, Mike. Good job on that.
Good job.
You know, you're talking to the wrong guy. I'm semi-retired.
You know, it takes 200,000 ants just to make a decent sandwich, and I'm having trouble with just one, and the day's half over.
Hey, you know...
And by the way, neither of those actors, Jackie Mason nor Dean Martin, was voicing those characters. That was John Byrne. John Byrne, who was a great impersonator, and Jackie Mason could call on that. It's funny how Mike said Joey Bishop first. I can see how he can get confused.
Yeah, I can see exactly.
I used to watch the Joey Bishop show. He came in behind Let's Make Room for Daddy. If you guys remember that old series, classic television, SmackDown, guys. But I remember watching the Joey Bishop show. Okay, so Friz Freeling, guys, was the kingpin. Even though he won more Academy Awards, I think, than our boy
Chuck Jones.
Chuck Jones, thank you very much on that. He did have a claim to fame to a lot of things. So when I showed his picture in the beginning, that is Fritz and Chuck right there together, side by side. Friz Freeling. I want to say Fritz, of course. I think everybody does. Was Friz Freeling, but that is in fact the man. who pretty much was responsible for a lot of these characters that we see each and every day. Of course, there's the first rendition of Porky Pig, and then you see him as he is today. Actually, I think he wears pants now. I'm not sure if Porky wears pants in this day and age. But one thing that Frizz did that was not very acceptable was that he made fun of a lot of minorities. And one of his biggest creations to make fun of was actually highly successful. And I don't think a lot of the viewing audience thought of it as being rude. But Frizz admitted that, he likes making fun of racists, was this guy right here. Okay, Speedy Gonzalez. Rose, do you know who Speedy Gonzalez is?
Of course I do.
Okay, just checking.
Andale. Yes.
Arriba. Yeah. I like how you did that. That's a good.
I remember watching Speedy.
Yep. All right, so I'm getting towards the end here, but I have a couple more clips to show you guys, and it all is Frizz Freeling. So let's look at. Actually, it's just one. So check this out.
I can't explain how I do it or how anybody else does it, but you're thinking cartoon and you're thinking visually how it can be done in cartoon, because it's nothing in live action could compare. I guess you got to use your instincts to guide you in a lot of stuff, whether it's right or wrong. I mean, you can't set any rules because half of them don't work.
That was Elmer Fudd, by the
gets
way.
taken for granted sometimes because he isn't as flamboyant, let's say, as some of the other directors, and he doesn't show off as much. But then you look at the body of his work, and you look at some of the specific gems that he made over the years, and you realize just how many really wonderful cartoons he made, and you realize he takes a backseat to nobody.
Here! Frizz would go for the belly laugh, and he goes for the humor.
He knows a gag, and he knows how to pull it off.
June
he could
Foray.
pull off a gag like nobody else could.
He's just, he was a master.
When I got out of high school, I was looking for a job, and there was an ad in the one ads for a boy, an office boy who could draw. I gathered up all the material I had around, and I went down to this place, and I got to the doorstep, and I figured, Jesus, I'm too amateurish for that. There must be professional artists there. So I turned around and went home. I never went in. I was scared to go in. And my mother said, "Did you get the job?" And I said, "Nah, somebody else got it." So I believe in fate, because 2 weeks later, the same ad appeared. And this time I gathered the stuff in, and I went down there, and they hired me. And who was working there? Walt Disney.
They were part of a group doing Newman's Laughograms, which were kind of topical gags based on current Kansas City news at the time that they would run in movie theaters. They had to crank them out very fast. Frizz was there with Hugh Harman and Rudolph Ising and Ub Iwerks and Walt Disney himself running the show.
I really didn't know Disney when I worked there, but my contact was Hugh Harman, and he helped me quite a bit. In fact, I owe a lot to him.
And then Walt moved out to Hollywood, and he needed extra animators. He had Ub Iwerks, and he had Hugh and Rudy joined him out here to make the Alice comedies, which were for Margaret Winkler release.
Hugh said he was going to go to California, and I was to take Hugh's place as an animator. I said, I don't know anything about animation. So he said, well, here's what, he showed me what he was doing. And he says, get a book in the library called Lutz's Book of Animation, and read that and they'll tell you. So I was inking and painting, and I was doing the backgrounds and everything. I never held a brush before in my life. And the more I did, the more I learned.
But Walt ran short of animators and he needed somebody, so he wrote a long letter to Friz saying, "Come out here. It's a great place to live and work, and you'll love it." You know.
When Walt wrote to me and asked me to come out, that was very exciting for me. And of course, I knew Hugh Harman and Iworks had gone to California to work on this thing. And I think that was a deciding factor for me.
The day Friz arrived on the train from Kansas City, Walt personally went down to Union Station to pick him up.
But strangely enough, he and Walt didn't get along too well. Walt was a really tough taskmaster and made Friz redo things a lot.
Walt and I never got along. I was his whipping boy.
And also there was a lot of hazing of the poor guy because he was kind of short in stature. Like Hugh Harman used to tell me that he and Rudy used to grab him, walk down the sidewalk in front of the studio, and each would grab him by the arm and force him to walk really fast with them. And he hated it. He cussing and screaming at him. But, you know, they wouldn't stop doing it.
Okay, so that's enough of Friz right there, and I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of Friz Freeling and the fact that he and Walt did not get along. But Friz, in fact, carried himself along in history. He's got 4 Academy Awards, may not be as many as Walt did, but it just proved that, you know, no matter how many times or how much you're bullied or picked on or whatever, don't quit.
Yep.
You know, just keep going, do what you do best, and it'll get noticed. The hard work always gets noticed. So and that should be for Rose, for her and her job, because I know she works so hard at what she does at her office. And if nobody's throwing accolades to you yet, wait for it. Wait for it. I'm a strong believer in karma, and you'll get your due. So guys, that was part 1 on my Kings of Animation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There are a lot of other people that are going to be coming down the road that we're going to talk about, whether I do them, whether Rose or Jerome does them. It's something that, you know, I think that we should address. We talk so much about the characters, but we rarely talk about the creators. And we wanted to kind of touch on the creators of animation when you guys were growing up. A lot of cartoons that you may have actually never seen before, that we put up here on the screen. A lot of stuff that started out in the theaters before they were actually put on. Because I remember Tom and Jerry used to come on at 9 a.m. Sunday mornings. 9 a.m. Sunday mornings, I was watching this thing. I think we had to be to church by 11. Okay, so I got at least a chance to watch Tom and Jerry 9 o'clock on Sunday mornings. I remember that specifically. Thanks, Cheryl. Appreciate it. But yeah, so Rose, Jerome, anything on these 3 characters, or I'm sorry, these 3 creators and the characters that they created that you wanted to touch on?
Oh, there's just a lot. There's a lot to say there. So, you know, it's just I think you did a great job putting it all out there, Mark.
Thank
Some
you.
good stuff today.
What's interesting is a lot of that stuff that you've shown was pre-World War II. Okay,
yes.
With the exception of Speedy Gonzales. And that stuff, these animations were later sent overseas for the guys in the field to watch, so they got a feeling of home.
Right.
I don't know if people know that or not. And that was what sort of kept them going over there, was they got these films, these animations. Because the animations were anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes long, these shorts, they could show them in the field without worry of, you know, of enemy issues. And that a number of guys would come back and say that that's what helped get them through the wars with these shorts. And this was an interesting time of Americana, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this would have got me through the war.
What's interesting about Red Hot Riding Hood is at the end is and I'm going to do a little spoiler here at the end.
You know what? You can spoil because I forgot.
Well,
I forgot.
Red Hot ends up realizing, because she's been out all night and doing whatever, she goes home, rushes home, puts on an overall, and then goes to work in a war factory.
Oh, in a war factory. How about that?
Yeah. So
how prophetic is that? That's awesome.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Who do we got here? Hey, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. We all are as usual, believe it or not. Every single one of us on this team is as usual. We try to strike a home run. But these are the characters. At some point, as you can see, this character here is Chuck Jones. I did do a show on Chuck Jones before, but I'll put him in a compilation of the Kings of Animation because I just can't leave him out.
No.
You know, if we're going to focus on Kings of Animation, there's no way can I leave Chuck Jones out. So that's what we're going to do. This was, like I said, part 1. At some point down the road, we're going to hit with a part 2. Whoever wants to do it, I would love to. Love you too, Jennifer. Go get me an egg. I want an egg.
I want a big chocolate bunny.
Hey, anybody know the name of, speaking of the holiday, does anybody know the name of that egg coloring kit that we always used to get when we were a kid?
Pause.
Huh?
It's Paws. P-A-A-S. Paws.
Yep. P-A-A-S. Pause. How about that? Are you still doing that, Rose?
I haven't done it for a couple of years, but
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
every now and then, if the kids want to, I'll go grab a kit.
It was a big thing in our family to get that little wire, little container and stick your egg in it, you know, and dip it down into the, and then you had the, I think the peel off like decoration stickers or whatever that you put on. Oh my God, man. Easter was a big thing in our family. New haircut, new suit of clothes. Everybody was dressed to the
So,
nines.
Mark, are you going to go get a haircut and a new suit of clothes?
Actually, I'm going to get half of that. I'm going to get the haircut. I need a haircut badly.
Oh, you need a new suit too.
Well, I got 30 suits in my closet. I don't think I need a new suit. You know, I don't think I need a new suit. Thank you, Cheryl. On everybody knew what that meant. Pause. If you're going to services tomorrow, this is the first time in however many years that Easter and Passover has fell on the same day yesterday.
Yeah.
Which was pretty interesting. If you saw my Facebook page, I had the oven fresh doughboy. One was he has risen, and the other one was something like he has not, or whatever, you know, for unleavened bread, of course, for the Jewish community we have. And plant them in my bed. What happens if
they rot? She said raw eggs.
Why are you planting them in your neighbor's yard, Jennifer?
Because they said my bad neighbors.
So eventually they'll smell, I guess.
Yes.
Can you smell them?
Rotten eggs.
Really, through the soil, you can actually smell them.
Yeah, and they won't figure out where it's coming from.
Well, Jennifer, I'm sorry you have a bad neighbor. You know, I'm sure everyone in their lifetime of living in their own homes have experienced a bad neighbor, one or two. I actually had one that I know of. I had a bad neighbor, and luckily that person is there. So, hey guys, Saturday morning.
Gwen's at an Easter egg hunt right now.
Oh, she's at an Easter egg hunt?
That started at 10 o'clock. She and Mommy went because the minister that did my father's funeral and my mom's funeral stopped by yesterday and invited Gwen to the Easter egg hunt.
Oh, that's fantastic.
They left around 9:45 to go to the Easter egg hunt.
Well, I mean, I was trying to think of a joke, but I can't think of anything to say about eggs. I happen to like eggs, but my medication
the yolk's on
doesn't.
you.
Oh man, you can cut the shelling out. Oh, okay. Yeah, but like I said, I like hard-boiled eggs. I really like eggs in general, but my medication does not. So I have to kind of make sure I know what my surroundings are before I eat an egg.
I know that feeling.
Oh, I didn't know Easter was on.
It depends.
April 1.
Easter depends upon when the full moon is.
Really?
Yep, it's a lunar holiday. That's why
I never knew that.
That's why Easter is always bouncing around as to the date it is. It's not.
Well, well, wait a minute. Let me argue that it's a religious holiday. Easter is.
But
Easter.
notice it's never on the same day.
Yes, I do notice that. I don't know why. I never knew why, but yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, Rose has to dash. We want to make sure that her cat is taken care of. So, Rose, you can go ahead and bail out and give us an update on your page on what the doctor says.
Yes, and if everything works well and if everything's good news, we'll be on tonight, Roses and Reactions at 7 o'clock with our Nickelodeon show. If it's not, then we'll be postponing the show. So please stay tuned to my page and we'll let you know. Thank you so much.
I was looking forward to that. Looking forward to that Nickelodeon show. If it happens tonight, I'll keep my ears open.
Scat, thank you.
Scat, go take care of the cat. Take care of you guys. Talk to Rose. Talk to you later. Get off. She's gone. Okay, she froze up and she's gone. Hey guys, thank you so much for, whoops, where'd you go? Oh, there you go. Thank you guys so much for joining us for Saturday Morning Cartoons. As you know, each and every week we'll do this. We will not be here next week, but you will get a repeat episode of something. We'll be back the weekend after. All of us wants to go out and have fun on a Saturday. I'm going to the Universal Parks to hang out for the day. We'll see how long I can actually hang out. It might actually be a 4-hour max, or I'm going to try and go a full 8. We'll see. This is going to be strange. All right, guys. Talk to you later. See you later, Jerome. Ciao.